You can know who you are. You know you are God. You remember that, or maybe you even had an experience, an ayahuasca trip or anything. You know that. You experienced unity. First of all, for the majority of people, it's not enough because they're not like stable in that state. They accept that knowledge that I am God as another philosophical idea, which is also still separate from them. It's like it sits in your mind as the concept, as the idea. Oh, I am God. It's a thought. It is all there is. It's just a thought. Thought is not going to change anything. You can say to yourself, I am God, like a billion times, nothing is going to happen. Because this change, this shift in your self-identification, your self-perception, it happens not in your mind. Mind's only mission is to maintain the separation between you and unity and God. You cannot rely on mind here. It is not with our mind that we achieve awakening or enlightenment, knowing who we are. It is this consciousness of yours that awakens to its own nature. And this, again, it doesn't happen in your mind. That's why so many people maybe heard, oh, I am the creator, I am God, but nothing's changing. The feeling in your body that many people would take as a proof, oh, now I am God because I felt the internal fireworks. I felt this internal light. This is also not what we are trying to achieve here. I actually explained it in the program. Our mind doesn't believe anything. It's the quintessence of disbelief and doubt, basically. So when we have certain understanding or certain knowledge is given to us, we will not believe in it until we experience it in our body. Kind of, we believe more in our bodies than in our mind. But our body and mind are still the same. It is one body-mind. So when you have feelings in your body, it doesn't actually tell you that this is necessarily the truth. It is just more vivid and tangible sensation. It's like this visceral feeling. Oh, I feel I am God. But this is also not needed. That's the funny part. So what we are trying to get here is this deep shift in self-identification. Could have probably called it like a psychological phenomenon, but it's not psychological. It's about perception, but perception that is not of the mind alone. I honestly don't even have the vocabulary to explain what it is exactly. Like, we don't have this word. It is not a physical sensation that proves to you, oh, this is a valid experience, oh, it means I'm enlightened, oh, it means this and that. It is neither a thought. Thought is obviously not enough. You can say I am God multiple times, nothing is going to change. What we do need to reach is some deepest level of our being. It's basically you kind of hack and crack your DNA, the nucleus of each atom in your body, where this information, this understanding, this remembrance of our original essence of who we are sits dormant until we awaken it. And again, it can happen with internal fireworks and all the bodily sensations, or absolutely without it. Self-identification can shift both with bodily sensations or without. It doesn't matter. Like, for example, when I experienced that, it was a physical sensation. But at the same time, one of the very first downloads I received was that this way of experiencing enlightenment is not needed for everyone. For many, many thousands of years, we needed some very strong proof from our own body that something has taken place within us. Oh, I felt so strongly in my head, in my body. It means that something's changed. We can live this life without all these difficult, tough life lessons that we self-prescribe to ourselves. But the same is true for the enlightenment and the way we receive it. Because enlightenment from the beginning of times would happen to people, for example, when they go and fast for 40 days in the desert. their mind is no longer functional, basically. It's like almost on the precipice of dying, and then the mind stops. It doesn't interfere much. There's not much thinking anymore, no energy for this thinking, and suddenly the true reality is apparent for you. Or, for example, tedious spiritual practices and meditating in a cave for like long hours. All of that is simply kind of a reflection that we, as ego minds, we require struggle, suffering, and not easy ways in order to get somewhere, in order to allow ourselves to achieve that we arrived at the destination. Same with enlightenment. Oh, I need to do multiple spiritual practices for many years. I need to sit in meditation for a long time, or I need to fast, or I need a special diet, or I need to be vegan, or I need this and that. Only then will I allow myself to make internal choice to remember who I am. Our mind has this illusion, oh, this was this meditation, that was that retreat, silent retreat, or that was that, I don't know, method that made me enlightened. No, it is your choice. First comes the choice, but then we will be seeking and creating in the so-called external reality the validation for this experience and for our mind to be able to understand and kind of explain to itself why and what happened. Choice is what happens in you, and this is basically all there is. There's nothing else.